You are now live with the Locked In Podcast. As always, your hosts for the evening, Steve Ushler and George Menchai. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on to stay up to date with the most current personal development tips and sports analysis. With that being said, welcome to the podcast and enjoy the show. Indeed, welcome to the podcast, guys. Welcome to the podcast. What is going on? Welcome in. Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday. We are here. We made it through another week, almost through another week, as we kind of near the holidays here. So tonight, I think it might just be me out of the team, me and the guys who run the show here. I think it might just be me here tonight. That's all right. It's kind of a last-minute postponement. This is the thing with podcasts sometimes, it's just sometimes we have scheduling conflicts. People can't make it, anything like that. So we try to improvise and have topics lined up. So somebody actually approached me on this topic. A brain rot. That's what we're talking about tonight. If you guys don't know what brain rot is, it's essentially the supposed deterioration of your brain. I feel like I got brain rot right now. Deterioration of your brain or your mental thought process due to overconsumption of low value activities. So things like doom scrolling through social media, through platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, things of that nature. They can definitely trigger brain rot, and there's a serious link between brain rot and depression and mood swings and low mood and things like that. I feel like in the current environment that we live in with social media, you'll always hear me say on this podcast that social media is a blessing, but at the same time, social media is a curse. We tend to take dopamine hits from scrolling, right? There's so much short form content out there now, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, short form content, where we're seeing reels for 15 to 60 seconds. And what we're doing is we're just scrolling to one thing, scrolling to the next. Our attention span is shrinking because we're actually not, when you do that, you're overloading your sensory system. You're overloading your brain. You're overloading your mindset. And what that does is it can honestly affect your mood. It can cause you low mood. It can cause depression. And there's different strategies you can to, that's a positive of this, is there are strategies to help you overcome this. I'm not a licensed doctor by any means. So, there's certain things that I always say to refer to the physician level on, but just from this is things that, this was a good topic. Somebody approached me on this, one of the people who view the show, and I wouldn't say to an extreme level, but I have dealt with brain rot. To some extent. I feel like a lot of us probably have, even if we don't know it. By just getting stuck in doom scrolling or over consuming short form content, whether, I catch myself sometimes, I'm like, in the past, I would be scrolling and I would realize like 15 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, especially in like the morning when you're first waking up, or, you have a time where you're bored at home, you catch yourself in this type of cycle, this type of circle, where you catch yourself constantly scrolling through other things. So there's strategies though, and then I would become demotivated to do anything. I wouldn't want to. If I had plans to do something, I don't know. It would just kind of mess with my brain chemistry a little bit. I feel I'd be more, less motivated to do something, and then sometimes just when I'm not doing it all together. So I do really believe that there is a link with this, and I do realize I do realize that this could cause some serious implications if you don't take steps to overcome it. So I do think it's an important topic to talk about. It's something we have not actually discussed on this podcast before. And it's a key phrase, right? It's now coined, it's like a popular term, brain rot. Something, that was never ever really a word, prior, but now it's actually in the Oxford Dictionary, as in there's an actual definition for it. But we're going to chill. We're going to talk about this tonight. We're going to go through some strategies to overcome this. If you're dealing with this right now, I feel your pain. I've been in this situation before, and I'm happy every single week when I see my screen time report come up, and I have an app that there's tons of them out there, guys. Go check some of them out that you can download, and it will tell you what your screen time is. So you can see what your screen time was on a certain week. I think mine gives you my report Monday morning, so it tells me on my phone what my screen time was the previous week. Now, I will say, when I go on long walks or go on a run or something like that, I sometimes do put YouTube on in my pocket. So, obviously, there's certain outliers, but I think it does give you a pretty solid report of how much you're actually looking at your screen and how much actual screen time you have. So that is a key starter right there. It's not the strategy for everything, but a key starter is to find a way to monitor what your screen time is weekly. A lot of apps out there that you can use, they're free, completely free. You don't have to pay for them. And they can monitor your screen time and try to reduce that screen time. Figure out, it actually will tell you what apps you're consuming the most of. So if it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any app, to be honest, it's going to tell you how much time you spent in that app and what the percentages were. And you can figure out from there where you need to improve. And that is the truth. All right, guys. So I just want to say, if you're watching this podcast, before I even hop into the episode tonight, I do want to say thank you for tuning in. Feel free to comment in. If you're commenting on YouTube, I can throw your comment on the screen. Instagram, I got the chat up top. Facebook, I will monitor too. And I can also follow up with your comments right here live. So I'd appreciate if you tune in. If you are tuning in tonight, comment in. Say what's up. Just tune in. It doesn't even have to be anything. Just comment in, say what's up. And, it's going to be a relatively short episode tonight. We're chilling. If you're an Eagles fan, NFL, we talk a lot of sports on this podcast. We got a big game coming up tonight. It's not for the Eagles, but, we're trying to get that number one seed in the NFC. So the Lions and the Packers will be playing tonight. I know a lot of Eagles fans are curious to tune into that one. I think that's kicking off around 8:15, 8:20. So something to watch tonight. But, so if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, I do also want to say, if you're on YouTube, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, we're getting some subscribers this week. Got some new content coming up. I've already posted some this week. I have some content scheduled. So check it out. A lot of cool stuff coming on the channel. Hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, don't skip past the subscribe button. Click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on. Because we release content every single week. It's either related to personal development, as we are tonight, or sports. We cover all the main big sports here. We cover football, basketball, baseball, hockey, even UFC, boxing sometimes. So cover a lot of sports on here. You don't want to miss it. A lot, will be honest, the majority of the right now that we're talking about sports wise is football, because it is football season. It's a lot of big stuff going on right now in the NFL. So it's a lot of what we talk about. But hit that subscribe button if you like hearing about sports, if you like hearing about personal development, and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss any episodes. With that being said, enjoy the show. We also are on Spotify and Anchor, so if you do prefer to hit the download button, and just actually listening to our episodes, because I understand, not everybody can just sit there and watch a podcast episode. Not everybody has the time. So for your on-the-go needs, we do have our podcast set up to stream on Spotify and Anchor, just in case you're new here. All right. So let's get into the notes that I have here, and I will go through my notes that I personally have. I'm gonna try not to sit here and read off of the notes that I have on my screen like crazy because I don't like to do that. But I already gave you tip number 1, and it was to reduce your screen time. I'll dive right into number 2 here. I'm just gonna be direct right to the point tonight, guys. Directing right to the point. Another way you can do is you can reduce that screen time. Like I said, a lot of free apps out there you can utilize, and that you can honestly, they can show you which apps you are putting the most screen time into, and you can gradually reduce that. You take steps to do that. And I think that's where you got to start. You got to set your boundary on what you are consuming, which we'll get into next, and how much of it are you consuming, because I do notice it a lot of times. A lot of people can't hold a strong conversation, and I really do believe that this is direct. This is an effect. It's something that is directly linked. This can really cause brain that this is a side effect of brain rot, is not being able to hold long-term conversations without whipping out your phone, without changing it. And believe me, it's something that I used to do a lot too. I am not a perfect person. Sometimes I'm just sitting. I am very guilty of doing this myself. And it's something I'm trying to be better at as well. I will always be 100% accountable on this podcast. So, I am not a perfect person. So I am not an almighty God up on here, saying all the, these things. But to be honest, it is something that everyone could be better with, right? So I say step number 2 is you have to curate that news feed. That is another thing you have to do. After you actually take a look and analyze the actual screen time, is you have to take the step back to curate your news feed. What I mean by curate your news feed is to follow pages that provide stuff that you're actually interested in, but it's actually high value content. It's not low value content. There's a lot of low value short form content out there that is just there for entertainment. And to be honest, it's really it's just really, really low value trash content. And we know that, right? A lot of the internet is flooded with that type of content, to be honest. It's content that's going to provide you absolutely no value. And we see this all the time. So you have to curate that news feed. I think that's going to help out a lot. And that's going to help you start to set the boundary. It's going to help you start to set the boundary that you are going to control what you consume. But, there's, if you can't follow certain accounts that trigger you, also, what I would say is there's accounts for some people that are triggering. So what you need to do is, with those type of accounts, what I would do, and in my personal opinion, I was just unfollow them, because if you're just continuously consuming low value content, it's just not going to be, there's nothing beneficial about it. We all need a little bit of entertainment in our lives, but I feel like nowadays that is, I would say a lot of times now, that is what the majority is consuming, right? Majority of the time we're over consuming entertainment content. That is what we are doing. So at the end of the day, it's entertainment is cool. We all need some entertainment in our lives, but you just don't want to over consume, because that is what leads to that deterioration right there. That is what leads to low attention spans. We see it all the time. Like I said, most people cannot, I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of people cannot hold long conversations. And this is the result. This is the result of the consistent doom scrolling, the consistent endorphin rush. We get our endorphins so easy now, the endorphin rush of just consuming the short form content. And this is a great big world out there, right? There's a lot of other ways to get those endorphins, to get that joy in our life. Unfortunately, it requires a little bit of work, and the majority of us, we don't, I'm guilty of it myself at some points in my life. We sit there and we overconsume this to get those hits of endorphin rushes. So, like I said, limit your screen time. Bunch of free apps out there that can help you track that screen time to see where you're putting your time in, what apps, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, where you're putting that time in and where you can reduce it. Also, curate that news feed. That is the start too. And then engage in stimulating activities. That's the thing too. There's a lot of stimulating activities that can help you stimulate your critical thinking as well. And back in the day, people used to play Sudoku, crossword puzzles, stuff like that. There's plenty of things out there that can stimulate your mind. You need to find an activity that can do that. that is something that I would say that you need to jump into to try. So it will not only exercise your brain, but it's going to give you something to look forward to. So another thing I would actually say too is this goes with health and exercise. Practice regular physical fitness. So this can be anything, right? This can be going to the gym to lift weights, to strength train. This could be going on the treadmill, just going for a walk or a run, hitting the Stairmaster, going for a walk outside. It's really cold outside right now. So you might not want to go outside because it is really, really freaking cold outside. But if you have a gym membership, go to the gym, walk on a treadmill. But if you're just around your house, find activities to do around your house. You know what I mean? You can clean. You can you don't even have to go to the gym to technically lift weights. You can do push-ups, sit-ups, whatever. Get your body moving and break a little bit of a sweat. That's going to help you get that endorphin rush too. It's going to give you a different type of stimulation that you're not going to have to get through the consistent scrolling, through your news feed, through Reels, on all the social media platforms. It's a really it's going to be really, really helpful. Another one I would say is maintain a balanced diet, right? Everybody tells you that, maintain a balanced diet, and we're all guilty of just eating crap a lot of times, right? With social media also comes, and with technology comes, food delivery apps. So we can also even get alcohol delivered nowadays. I mean, if I live in Philadelphia, so there's apps like GoPuff and other types of apps where you can get alcohol literally delivered to you. So it's food and alcohol are you're literally at the touch of a button on your phone to get it delivered. It's so easy to not cook, to not go grocery shopping. But look, as I'm telling you, when you eat healthier and you limit your alcohol consumption, unhealthy habits there, maintain that balanced diet, it's going to be really, really good for your cognitive function. It's not rocket science. A lot of times we understand that. We just don't want to do it. But look, if you're struggling with brain rot, one of the biggest things you can do is change your diet around. And I know that's not always easy, especially if you're used to eating crap. It's not easy. If you have any questions with that, I would literally consult a nutritionist. We've had a couple of nutritionists and fitness coaches on this podcast. One of them I could tell you is Matt Lee. We've also had Frank Veneziale on here too. FTV Fitness, and then you got Matt Lee Fitness over there. Two great resources. I'll always shout those guys out. Always shout my brothers out on that end. So, Matt Lee Fitness and FTV Fitness for Frank Veneziale. They are guys that can help guide you, in those directions. I'll be honest, they're coaches. So, they have some free material, but a lot of their material, if you actually want to work with them, it is gonna cost. There's a lot of free material out there too. So do your research. Try to find out healthy recipes that work for you. I may just be saying things, all the time. I'll be honest, it's not easy, right? It's not easy to eat healthy all the time. It's not easy to work out. It's the tough things, but you know what? You have to have non-negotiables in your life. So you have to build them. Look, nobody's going to come save us, guys. There's just nobody that's going to come save us. The only people that can hold us completely accountable is ourselves. Creating structured routines. So this comes under the fact of organization. Prioritize, tasks for relaxation, but at the same time, mental stimulation. For example, you could always do something like just literally turning your phone off. So, literally, or silencing your phone and just putting your phone down. Literally, and just being present in the moment. Like you can do things like meditation. There's different types of tasks, but we need to be able to take the time to step out of the barrier, right? See, my buddy Anthony Santiago's tuned in. Ant, what's up, brother? On the IG Live. Let me check Facebook too, so I don't kind of. Let me check Facebook, see what we got here. just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I actually should have pulled that right up here. All right, cool. Got some viewers in. What's up, guys? Welcome on in. If you're new to the chat, new to the thing. What's up, George? What's up, brother? I see George joined in too on IG. What's up, my brother? Yeah. So creating a structured routine, very, very a very efficient method of honestly reducing that the distractions, the all different types of things that are going to kind of lead to brain rot, right? So that is an important thing to do. So the routine kind of goes with the other 5 tips that I already gave, but that's an important one. Structured routine is very, very important. And then honestly, like I said, this kind of dives into it. You know, we always say meditation, right? You know, it's a big word. People throw it out there, but mindfulness and meditation are very good techniques to help you slow down, focus on your breathing, and just be present. That is the key there. You don't have to be sitting down in your house like this with your hands up in the air to meditate. You know, we all see different types of ways, but people meditate in different ways, right? You could literally meditate by going for a walk and turning the phone, literally take the headphones out, sit there, be present in nature. Like I said, it's really, really fucking cold right now. So a lot of you probably don't want to walk outside. I understand that. I live in Northeast Philadelphia. I live in the Northeast sector of the U.S. It's fucking cold right now. I understand most of you guys probably don't want to sit out there and walk outside, but you know what I mean. Plenty of opportunities to just meditate in different ways. There's apps out there that can help guide you with meditation, but mindfulness and meditation, very, very important. Very, very important to helping to kind of kick brain rot, if you will. So always be mindful. So I got some more notes here. What do we got? So that's another one too. This is that I said setting boundaries, but this kind of goes to curating your newsfeed here. You need to practice mindful consumption of social media. So, or just any type of media. It can be even television. It doesn't have to be social media. Set boundaries on how much time you're actually going to spend on these different sorts of media, whether it's television, social media, laptop, computer, music, whatever you're consuming. You know, this can help prevent excessive passive consumption. You know, we can't watch TV if the television's off. We can't scroll on our phone if we temporarily, there's apps out there you can lock your apps for a certain amount of time. If we lock the apps that we're dealing with, if you're struggling, another thing you can do for social media is you can do a digital detox. So that a lot of people do that, and a lot of people will deactivate Facebook for a little bit, or Instagram, or Snapchat, or TikTok, whatever, to kind of avoid it, right? We've all been there. I've done that before. I haven't done it in a while, but I've done it before, and it's kind of hard running a podcast to deactivate all my social media, but there's definitely ways that I still could on my personal pages, right? But that could be something that's important too. You know, sometimes it takes a deactivation for a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It means that you're taking a healthy step to, do whatever it takes to help yourself remain mindful, to help yourself kind of get into more of a locked in, focused state, and to be able to a healthier cognitive state for our minds. Take mindful breaks in life too. So this is not me just sitting there scrolling on the phone. So mindful breaks that don't involve screen time, that don't involve it, just mindful breaks to sit there, relax, whether it's going out with friends, having a legitimate conversation, and not sitting on your phone when you're out with your friends. That's the thing too. I'll be out with some people sometimes, and literally, and look, I'm not saying people are bad people, but we all get wrapped up in this, right? Where we're sitting there having a conversation with people around us, and they're sitting there on their phones, like they're not even listening to what you're saying. And I've been guilty of it in the past myself. We've done this before, but it's something we have to understand. We need to be better. We need to be better. When you're if you're in the presence of people that are important to you, have a conversation, be present, stay mindful, and just listen sometimes. Just sit there and enjoy the company of each other. Because you know what? Life is very short. And, sometimes, we're going to miss that we had the opportunity to talk with those closest to us. Obviously, I would assume that there are people that that actually mean something to you, because you wouldn't be spending time with them if they probably weren't. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we need to be a little bit more mindful. And I think, taking breaks, Staying away from social media all the time. Putting locks on the phone. We're so glued to the cell phones. We're so glued to the television these days. It's sometimes we just need to be a little bit mindful and take that step back. Sipping this right here real quick, guys. Trying to stay warm. It's cold out there. It is cold out there. So I hope you guys are staying warm. It's like soup and chili season right now. I made some chili. We got some chili that we made earlier. Some hot, warm chili. So definitely going to consume a little bit of that. It's just ground turkey chili, but I'm still going to consume a little bit of that when I get off this episode. It's definitely soup and chili season, guys. Do whatever you got to do to stay warm. My last tip to what I would say is because, like I say, I just go off of personal experience here. So the topic that was brought to me, I thought it was a great topic by one of our viewers here. But I am not a physician, right? I am not a physician. So I will always tell you to refer to a physician if it is serious for you guys. Like, never ever. There's people that are trained to deal with this. There are psychiatrists, and there's nothing wrong at all with seeking professional help. I'm going to tell you guys, there's nothing wrong at all. You can be a high-value, locked-in, focused individual who is absolutely on your grind, on your shit, and still seek help from people. You can still seek that. You can always still seek therapy. You can still talk to people. There is no shame in doing it. You know what? I would say it makes you a really, really accountable and high-value person to recognize it. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. Don't let anybody ever tell you that there is. I'll tell you right now. So get support if you need it. There are mental health professionals that are, that can help you deal with this. That can help you work through this. And also just get support maybe from people closest to you that you trust. Talk to people around you, people that you trust. That's why I say, make sure that you open up. Facebook here. Cool. Sometimes it can be comforting and motivating to be able to share experiences with a community of other people that have been through the same stuff. And a lot of us deal with brain rot. This is actually a really common thing nowadays. So you're not alone by any means. Remember, we all deal with struggles behind the scenes with different types of distractions, different types of things. And just because people look like they're doing really, really well on social media, sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. You know what I mean? Social media is a highlight reel. Always remember that. So just remember that. We all deal with demons. We all deal with battles. And I think more people deal with brain rot than you probably really, really, you would really think. I would really think so. So those are my 10 tips there, guys. Start from the back to the front. Get support if you need it. Take mindful breaks to reduce mental exhaustion. Practice mindful consumption of social media. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Create a structured routine. Maintain physical fitness and a balanced diet. Engage in mentally stimulating activities. Make sure to craft your newsfeed to higher value, not low value content. And make sure that you take into account your screen time. There's a lot of apps that can help you track it. And a lot of them will tell you the apps that you spend the majority of your time on. So, like I said, I thought this one was kind of going to be solo dolo on me tonight, and I was going to be the one in here. But that's okay. The boys, the squad here, the team, for Locked In Podcast here, a lot of those guys, could not make it on. And this was supposed to be a one-on-one, me and another guest. But unfortunately, due to the postponement for 2 weeks, I couldn't really rope in the rest of the team to kind of join in on such a short notice. Like sometimes they'll hop in because, we're a team here. We all do stuff behind the scenes. But, sometimes it's just I really don't want to cancel a week because we missed last week with the holiday. So I was like, let me bring in an important topic. This was something that, I had on my list to talk about. But I'm like, you know what? Move it up. Due to the postponement. So we'll have our episode that was supposed to be scheduled for tonight with that guest. I'll roll out that info. But I just want to thank you guys too, in the spirit of thankfulness. Thank you guys who are, new listeners, our new viewers, people that have been long time, since the beginning riding with us here. This podcast has been going on 4 years. 4 years. It's been a long time. And for a lot of the time, I was just appreciative to have the podcast. But over the last year, we've spent a lot of time on the growth of the channels, the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And we've grown more this year than we have since the beginning. So I do want to say for that, I am very, very thankful. And I am just, amongst the craziness of life, I do still try to make this a big platform. I am trying to grow and work to make this platform as big as I can, with holding myself more accountable and staying very consistent with content posting. So this week, I kind of got back onto posting more short form content for YouTube. Check that out. I'm going to try to post 3 clips per week. That is what I'm going to try to do as my non-negotiable. Every single week, I'm going to go for 3 short form content clips on YouTube. I'll try to bring them over to Instagram and Facebook as well for you guys. And then maybe on TikTok too. So I get the irony here of the short form overconsumption, but I will say it all depends on what you enjoy. So we post any short form content I post on here is either going to be related to either personal development or sports. Personal development is growth. Sports is more entertainment, right? But it's still positive content, right? I think sports does bring people together, but I get the irony of all that. But I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are what motivates me, growing the subscribers, growing the followers. And I just want to say I'm grateful. Very, very grateful for the ride that we've been on and opening this platform. I've been able to connect with people throughout the United States, to be honest. There's been people that have been on this podcast that I would have never met if I didn't do this podcast, whether it be through when I was doing this podcast with George and I met people through him, or people that had seen this podcast from YouTube and reached out and joined on this podcast. So we've had people from West Coast to Midwest to, all over the U.S. And, it hasn't been a ton of people throughout, most of the people are inside this sector of the U.S., the Northeast sector, and the most people that either I knew or my co-host at the time knew. But we have met people from over the U.S. that I would have never met without this platform. So for that, I am super grateful, super humbled, super grateful that people have been able to come on here and share their stories. And I'm glad, even if I can help one person or anything I share on here, or provide entertainment, with the sports side of it for one person, that makes it worth it to me. So I've been able to meet a lot of good connections in this business, and I'm just grateful, truly grateful. Hopefully we can branch out even further and reach more people. And that's the goal here, is to be able to have people hear their stories and be able to help inform people and bring people together. I love the podcast episodes when we have a bunch of people on here together. I love it. You know what I mean? It gives us an outlet. It gives us something to talk about, to bring informative content to people. And that is what makes this truly, truly freaking worth it. I'm actually going to wrap this episode up here tonight, guys, because I don't think any of my team are jumping on here tonight. And that's all right. That's all right. We will have, this episode tonight, the guest was postponed for 2 weeks, and we have a great couple guests coming on next week. So I'm excited for that. But check out our content. I'm going to try to be non-negotiable and transparent with you with the non-negotiables, with the short form content coming through, maybe some upgrades to the social media pages, which I always like to do. I'm excited. So I'm going to hop into our analytics and see where we can improve. And I'm going to put some polls up for you guys to see if you guys what you guys want to see more of. With that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're consuming this content at. If you're watching on Spotify or Anchor, hit that download button to download our content. And with that being said, guys, just have a great weekend. First week into December, crazy. It's a few weeks from the holidays, whether you're celebrating Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Holidays are basically here, very close. And, we're almost at the end here where we're wrapping up the year of 2024, which I think was actually a pretty short year. For some people I know, they said it was really long. For me, it felt like it went quick, but here we are. All right, guys, with that being said, have a great night, great weekend, and I will see you personally next week for episode 194. With that being said, have a great night. Take care.